Good afternoon everyone, welcome back to Piccadilly. You've probably realised by now that my last video, the running session, I included some station announcements, like so.
Platform 1 for the 1903 Northern service to Manchester Piccadilly. Calling at Markham, Romilly, Bredbury, Brimington.
So there you are, you can see that there's different station announcements. Now, I'm just going to take you across to the iPad. The idea of this is that I wanted to create a timetable for all the trains. So what I've done is I've gone to New Mills's actual timetable and created an announcement for each train time that I saw there and the direction it was going, according to what stops it made as well. So every station announcement is here. So for example, 1327.
Platform 2 for the 1327 Northern service to Manchester Piccadilly. Calling at Markham, Romilly.
Okay, we don't need to listen to the whole of that, but they're all there. All right. Now, plus some extras as well. So I've gone through the additional ones. Like, for example, you don't hear this one very often.
Special announcement to all staff and passengers. As part of the weekly fire alarm test, you will hear an evacuation message. This is for testing purposes only.
Okay. And I'll just play you the one more. This is quite a familiar one, if I can find it.
This is a security message. If you see something that doesn't look right, speak to staff and text the British Transport Police on 61016. We will sort it. See it, say it, sort it.
Now, somebody asked me in the comments, do I have to have the set messages? Well, you can create literally what you want. Now, before I go into showing you how I physically create the message and how it's played, I'll show you the setup. So here we are at New Mill Station. And there are speakers actually under the station. Now there is one speaker moving across, and there is another speaker. Now they are literally £5 speakers for your computer. If I can get one out to show you. All right. And I'd say they're about 5 centimetres cubed. Now that comes with a USB on it, just like that, for going into your computer. But clearly I don't want it to do that, because the only reason that it's going into your computer is to get power. Now, because it wasn't quite long enough to reach my plug sockets down here, I've added this small extension, but if yours does reach, then great. And I've just bought a simple, USB plug, which is the black bit on the top. I don't need to pull that out to show you, but I bought this thing this morning, which is a three socket switch. Okay, so I've turned that into a USB switch. Now, I spent quite a long time looking for USB individual switched sockets, and I can't find any. You can, if you've got, say, 3 sockets or 3 USB sockets in a 3-pin socket, the one you'd have in the wall where you put your plugs, there is a switch to switch them off on some of them, but it turns the whole thing off. And that's not what I'm after. Or the switch is purely for the 3-pin plug. It's not for the USB. And the reason I want a switch is because the speakers, when they're only plugged into the electricity, do tend to hum a little bit. And I don't want to be listening to that when the layout's switched off. So I've put this switch will be controlling all the sound station announcements for each station I build, and there's going to be well, not massive number of stations, but there are going to be a few more than just a couple, because I want the trains to physically go somewhere on a journey. So I can turn that off. You can see I've labelled it, and there's an LED light comes on. All right, that tells me the speakers are on. Now, from the other side of the speaker, there is another wire coming out with just a sound cable on it, i.e., excuse me, panning across, a 3.5-inch jack. Now, I've connected that to an extension socket. Now, this sound cable, this extension here has 2 wires in it. So what I did was I took that and wired it into that. So now, as you can hear, it doesn't like the sound, but 2 connections into the back of that, okay? And then this comes up, in this case, to my iPad. All right. Now, sometimes I use the phone. If I use the iPhone, I have to use this adapter that came with the phone, okay? Because obviously more modern iPhones don't have a headphone socket anymore, and you have to use one of those jacks. And then that just plugs into one of those, or like that, if that makes any sense. And that goes into your iPhone. But anyway, that's generally the setup. But I have to say, it doesn't have to be as complicated as that. As long as you take the USB to your power and the jack straight into your phone or your MP3 player or whatever you want to use, it should work, no problem. And if you're only having the one speaker, you might want to buy a Bluetooth speaker, one of these. Now that is just a simple USB speaker, very cheap, again probably somewhere in the range of about 4 to 5 centimeters cubed. Now this one does need charging and then putting back in. There is a USB, micro USB to charge that, and you can plug things in and probably have something coming out daisy chaining to other speakers if you want to. But that is a way of Bluetoothing, so that's pretty good. I bought this one for my last layout, and I'll probably get another couple and put into Piccadilly when I finally get around to doing that. But that won't be anywhere like close yet. There's a lot of work to do to Piccadilly before I get to station announcements. And if you think about it, there are hundreds of announcements in a day, if not thousands, to be honest. So I'd have to just pick a selection. So there's different ways you can do this. You just have to choose your speaker, choose the item that you're going to play them on, and just plug it in and plug it into your phone or whatever it is you're going to use. Okay, now I'm going to take you down to the computer now, and I'm going to show you how I go about creating these messages. Right, welcome back to the computer. The program I use to create is called text-to-speech. Okay, so you could just go into the Microsoft Store, which is there. Yeah, I'm sure you know the one I'm talking about. Little carrier bag icon, that is, and just download it. Now you get a number of different voices. I've got Hazel for this moment in time. Now I am fully aware that station announcements are often using Anne. Now I've searched high and low for Anne, and I cannot find her freely available. You may be able to find a voice which is good enough for you. I mean, Hazel is good enough for me, and there's a couple, I think there's 4 on this one that you can use. There's even ones in different languages that you could use, so it's entirely up to you what you choose. So let's type something. Let's go for platform 3 for the 1537 to, and let's go to London Euston. Okay, now if I play that back, it'll just play it normally.
Platform 3 for the 1537 to London Euston.
Now I did that deliberately because if you listen to the computer generated voices, there are gaps, And the reason for that is because the program they use allows you to change all the different elements of the journey or the announcement. So you can not only change the time, you change the operating company, you change the destination, and you can also change all the stopping points, and also add additional messages at the end if they choose to. Like, for example, the train has a short platform. So all those have these little pauses. So it might go platform 3 for the 15:37 to London Euston. So what you have to do is you have to split. If you noticed, it said that, oops, we need to go to right, by the way. Watch that. If it's got the pencil there, you're not in edit mode. Yeah, it said 1537. So you put a space in there and it sounds different.
Platform 3 for the 15:37 to London Euston.
See, so we've got that bit right now. But it still says platform 3 for the 15:37 to London Euston. What it should say is platform 3 for the 15:37 to London Euston. So what I tend to do is put a comma in there. Oh, it keeps flicking back to... Now, if you put a comma in there, I mean, written English, it's going to be terrible, so don't look at that. But now go back to play now.
Platform 3 for the 15:37 to London Euston.
And now we have to put in a full stop and go calling at. Okay, comma. Now, oops, help if I put L's and not semicolons, wouldn't it? So it doesn't matter about the capital letter at the beginning. I know I'm a teacher, but it's the speech bit we're interested in, the sound, the audio. So let's go for a train which would go from Manchester Piccadilly to London Euston. So let's call it at Stockport, Stoke-on-Trent. Notice I've separated those words. Milton Keynes Central. I'm going to stop this one at Watford Junction. And actually I'm going to put a full stop there. London Euston. Okay, so let's listen to that.
Platform 3 for the 15:37 to London Euston. Calling at Stockport, Stoke-on-Trent, Milton Keynes Central, Watford Junction and London Euston.
Okay, so that's sounding an awful lot better. Now, you may come across some words which actually don't sound right at all. For example, this word here, I had to play around with it, Reading. Now, we know it's Reading, and pretty much everybody who lives in the country knows it's Reading, but the computer doesn't know it's Reading. Now, I know this isn't on that right line, but just listen to this.
Platform 3 for the 15:37 to London Euston. Calling at Stockport, Stoke-on-Trent, Milton Keynes Central, Watford Junction, Reading and London Euston.
See, it said Reading. Now clearly that's not right and wouldn't sound correct if that was the announcement you used. So I'm going to go back to edit, and I want it to have that sound. So what I'm actually going to do is take out the A and replace it with a D. So I know it's spelled incorrectly, but that should do it now. Let's have a listen.
Platform 3 for the 15:37 to London Euston. Calling at Stockport, Stoke-on-Trent, Milton Keynes Central, Watford Junction, Reading and London Euston.
Okay, so it's got the word correctly. Now, you've just got to play around with it. There's no shortcuts on this. I suggest if you want to do modern station announcements, listen to what they're actually like and work out where the stops and the pauses are, and then incorporate those into your announcements, because a lot of stations do use the automated versions of this. There are some stations which use people, in which case you can do exactly what you like and you can say exactly what you want and space it how you want. But that's generally the idea. Now, the announcement would go on to say, repeat platform 3 for the, comma, 15, what is it, 37, 2, comma, actually I put a full stop in there, didn't I? No, comma, London Euston. Okay, and now I'll put the full stop, and this train is formed from, let's say, 11 coaches. That is ready now. Now make sure that this blue bar is across the top, and then you've got this arrow, click down and save to MP3. Now it asks you where do you want to save it to, so I'm going to save it to my desktop, and I'm going to call it speech to text and Glasgow Central. Okay, so that's actually about speech has got two E's in it, hasn't it? Let's change that. And I want it to be an MP3 file like I just chose, and save. All right, and that can then be closed. I'm not going to close that, but I am going to open up the other program, which is I use Magic's Movie Edit Premium. As you can see, I've got a timeline down the bottom here, and I can put normal videos in here and edit them like I do. But I want that announcement. So there it is, Glasgow Central. Now I can just click on it and it will play.
May I have your attention, please?
Okay. Now to get it into the timeline, you need to press the left mouse button and drag it. Make sure it goes completely to the left of the timeline. If it doesn't, you'll have a delayed start, because obviously the time line as it works across needs to get to the video before it can actually play anything. Now these are often not loud enough, so there is a bar running across the middle of there, and you'll see there are 2 arrows there. I normally put mine up to 18. Of course you can adjust it on, I mean, like I said, I play mine on the iPad or on the iPhone, and the volume control will just deal with all that for you, so you don't have to worry about that. But if you've got the volume in the first place, you can control it by taking it down. If it's too quiet, there's nothing you can do about making it louder. The iPhone will be on its loudest, and you'll regret that, because when a phone call comes through or whatever, then it will blast through your ears. So you have to work it out what's good for you. Like I said, 18 is good for me. Now, up the top here, it says effects, just up there. All right, so I click on that, and I go down to object or audio object effects, and oops, sorry about that. Let's go down to there, and echo reverb. Incidentally, I have bought this program. I think it came through on an offer about £60, and there's all sorts of offers which are signed up for them. Now, I want a bit of reverb on this, so I'm going to go to voice, because it is a voice. And then you've got all these different options. Now, I don't want a lot of reverb, but I'm going to go to insulated room, and that moves the little dot from the middle to there. But the echo is what I'm after. Now, I could have a massive echo and play it like that, but that's not what I want. I don't want it to keep, repeat. I don't want it to do that. I want it to have a very close echo, as it would be in a station. So I'm going to go to simple echo. Oh no, sorry, robot-like, I beg your pardon. Robot-like, which is often the one I go to. And then once that's done, I close that, and now listen to it.
May I have your attention, please? The 1635 Trans 9 Express service to...
Okay, So that is probably the type of echo that you'd find on a relatively small station, or a bigger station if you wanted to. When I do Piccadilly, I'm gonna make it a little bit more echoey than that, but not much. So all you need to do now is go to File, go to Export, and then I'm going to drop that down to MP3. So you can save as just a sound file. You get a WAV file there, or I'm not sure what a transition is. I'm going to keep it as an MP3. And then this box asks you for the file name. So let's call that, I'm just making this up, 1527 delayed glass scent. Yeah, and I do that to keep it together. Yeah, my typing, honestly. But anyway, I do that so it's simple and it's enough for me to understand. It then asks you the location. So you put it where you want. Now, I've got mine set up to go to a file on my desktop. So they're all my completed files. And as you can see in there, there's all the others that I've done. All right. I'm not going to click save because I don't actually want to save this one. But that's basically the process. And then to get that onto my iPhone, so the file that I've just been talking to is there. So you can open up all of those files like that, and you can just press Control and then click on others if you want to. So there, holding down Control on the keyboard, if you didn't know that. And then all you need to do is email them to yourself, all right? And then you pick them up. Or the other way of doing it is go to your email and import all these files into your email and do it that way. But whichever way you choose to do it, then the files end up on your phone or MP3 player, whatever it is you want to play them on. Or simply another way is put a USB stick inside, plug them into the device you want to play, and again, it's simple. Or you could just play them straight from the computer and have the speakers coming straight out the side of the computer. So there is lots of different options. You don't have to do it the way I did it, but this is how I do it. Anyway, I'm going to end the video just there. I hope you found that really helpful. If you've got any further questions, please just drop them in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer those for you. Next video is going to be part 2 of the sound project that I've been doing over this last few days, and that is putting in background sounds. That should be a whole lot more simple. Okay, anyway, if you've enjoyed the content from Piccadilly, please do like, subscribe and share. And don't forget, on the subscribe bit, please ring the bell and you will get notifications straight into your inbox. Okay, take care of yourself. Bye for now.